This is Texas News Now, sponsored by Germania Insurance.
Hello, everybody. I'm Teresa Woodard in Dallas, and here are your top stories from North Texas. We are learning new details about Celina ISD's investigation into a former coach and teacher. Caleb Elliott faces several charges related to sex crimes allegedly involving students. Celina ISD ordered a third-party investigation which found that no district employee knew of Elliott's alleged misconduct before his arrest. But as Jobin Puniker shows us, that report also reveals a troubling culture in Celina.
4 months after a Celina middle school coach's shocking arrest, we are getting glimpses through an independent investigative report. 84 pages and heavily redacted. The law firm that did the report interviewed 39 witnesses, students, staff, now resigned principal Allison Ginn, and now retired coach Bill Elliott, the father of the man accused, Caleb Elliott, who is in jail facing a number of charges related to invasive recording, sexual exploitation, and child pornography. The report reveals serious system failures at Moore Middle School and athletics at Celina ISD. Starting with the hiring of Caleb Elliott, one witness describes, quote, concerns about Elliott's maturity and that he, quote, seemed like another student. In the report, a witness recalls Principal Ginn, stating she was forced to hire Caleb. The firm concluded father and athletic director Bill Elliott exerted his influence. Allison Ginn shared a text about growing frustration with athletics, writing, makes me regret my decision to come to Celina. It's not fun, it's not human, it just doesn't seem real. The report also touches on allegations of an inappropriate relationship Caleb may have had with a student, a then senior. The firm concluded there was no evidence. But in that report, it was revealed a lot changed after Elliott came out as gay. A witness shared at one point Elliott was missing from football sidelines and his duties in the locker room. Suspecting that Bill Elliott and board members were upset, Caleb announced he was gay. In March of 2025, parents and other witnesses shared in the report Elliott sold cologne, even an Apple Watch to students, confirmed by an email from Caleb to a parent apologizing for it. It is alleged Caleb was grooming students, but the firm did not make that conclusion. The firm says Caleb Elliott's criminal investigation was not part of the scope of this report. We asked Mitch Little, an attorney for 20 student victims. He says his clients were not interviewed for this report. He said this earlier in the week.
It speaks for itself that the investigation is not complete, and I guess we will have to do the investigator's job for her.
There is a district board meeting next week, and you can be sure there will be a lot said, and by all sides. In Celina, I'm Jobin Puniker.
State Representative Jeff Leach, whose district includes part of Collin County, is calling for the Celina ISD school board to be replaced. He said in part, quote, the leadership of the district, starting with the school board members, are not just willfully ignoring the victims and their families. Now they're intentionally taunting and ridiculing them. They all should be replaced, and the entire house that Bill Elliott built scrubbed clean from top to bottom. The Fort Worth police chief wants to install bullet-resistant glass in every police vehicle. Chief Eddie Garcia, that is, says a new $1.2 million grant from the governor's office will help get that done. Hundreds of vehicles already have the glass, but the department plans to add it to 130 more this year.
But when you hear shots fired and you know your officers are out there risking their lives for the community, your heart drops.
Garcia has been dedicating $1 million annually from the Crime Control and Prevention District Fund for the bullet-resistant glass. Visitors to the historic courthouse in Tarrant County will now find a new 10 Commandments monument outside. Adriana De Alba spoke with organizers about how this project got off the ground.
If this looks new, that's because it is a permanent 10 Commandments monument outside the Tarrant County Courthouse, and organizers tell us county leaders initiated this project.
Tarrant County commissioners approved it.
It's out on public property. It's out facing the sidewalk.
And now, everyone who passes the historic courthouse in downtown Fort Worth will see it.
I just decided to come later just so I could see it for myself.
Brian Ullman, visiting from California, wanted to see the new memorial up close. It was erected during a ceremony today, putting the 10 Commandments on display in downtown Fort Worth.
Probably not any other symbol more iconic.
Kelly Shackelford advocates for this. He's the president of First Liberty, a legal organization centered on religious freedom.
They're starting to go up across the country.
He says that's because recent Supreme Court rulings have shifted away from a strict separation of church and state. And opponents?
It's a violation of the Constitution.
Well, they argue it's concerning.
America seems to be going more and more in the direction of a theocracy. This community believes in the Christian religion over all others.
Those who support displaying the 10 Commandments in public spaces cite historical significance to law and morality.
How do you respond to concerns from people who may not share the same religious beliefs?
They misunderstand the purpose. The monument is put up because it's part of the history, whether they like it or not.
For now, the monument is here to stay. County leaders say it was funded by private donors. And so far, no legal challenges have been filed. In Tarrant County, I'm Adriana Dalb.
HEB is squashing hopes for a new store in Dallas. The grocer did buy land off Lemon Avenue 9 years ago, but never opened a store. And now the Dallas City Council is giving HEB 6,000 square feet next door to make the entire plot easier to sell. According to our partners at the Dallas Business Journal, there is already a buyer. Trademark Property Company is looking to build an apartment complex there and hopes to have it ready to go by next May. Now, HEB is still moving ahead with plans for a store in North Dallas off Hillcrest Road. Martin Luther King Jr.'s I Have a Dream speech still echoes in the minds of many Americans. On this MLK Day, Brittany Moncrief shows us there are plenty of talented students in DFW doing their part to make sure King's legacy is never forgotten.
He taught us to choose love over hate, peace over violence, and hope over fear.
Through the eyes of 4th and 5th graders.
Even though he lived a long time ago,
Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s dream still lives.
Yes, Dr. King went out on faith with the hope that things will get better.
And the hope for better is the legacy these Dallas ISD students are carrying.
We must take a stand. That means going against the current.
For the 34th annual MLK Jr. Oratory Competition, they've been posed the question, as a student of Dr. King's life, what message of hope do you think he would have for the world today?
He helped black, brown, whites come together.
4th grader Blinn Teklu says the dream is to keep pushing forward, sharing a poem she wrote.
When peace is more than just a word, his message is still seen and heard.
Cameron Kinder.
Competing was very, I don't know what to call it. It was something.
Is one of the 8 finalists chosen out of more than 90 students.
I want to keep Dr. King's dream alive. I got to do stuff to make his dream and my statement be alive.
And pushing through their own fears and nerves, Cameron won 2nd place.
Cameron Kinder.
And Blinn first.
So awesome. I'm very happy.
Leaving us with a little inspiration of her own to further Dr. King's dream.
Don't give up and keep going, keep loving.
In Dallas, I'm Brittany Moncrief.
Congratulations to her. Those are your headlines from North Texas.
Let's take a look at today's headlines from Houston. I'm Cheryl Mercedes. Harris County investigators say a possible love triangle turned violent, and it's making national headlines. Last week, an Humble woman was arrested after authorities say she threatened to drop a 25-pound weight on a woman her boyfriend was involved with at the gym. Deputies say it happened at the 24-Hour Fitness in Spring. Matt Doherty has more on what happened.
Aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, in this case a 25-pound weight.
This is 25-year-old Erilyn Martinez, who the Precinct 4 Constable's office says could have killed a woman during her workout last week.
Not very often with weights and not very often at a gym,
Captain Juan Flores says it appears Martinez was overcome with rage at the 24-hour fitness in Spring on the night of January the 6th.
So they were probably just using the facility at the same time.
Martinez apparently saw a woman she recognized working out on the floor.
These two individuals don't necessarily know each other to our knowledge.
Deputies say Martinez believed the woman was involved with her boyfriend. That's when they say cell phone video shows Martinez take a 25-pound weight, rush toward the woman on the ground, then say, quote, "I'm going to drop this plate on you," then throw the plate toward the woman's head. Captain Flores says the woman on the floor moved out of the way just in time.
Luckily, people that were around stepped in and calmed the situation.
After that, Martinez left the gym, but was later arrested.
If you make the bond, don't go back to that gym.
Martinez is currently free on a $1,000 bond. Captain Flores says deadly weapons can come in many forms, even those you never thought.
We do know a 25-pound weight, or any weight near those pounds, can be a deadly weapon, considering where you hit the person at.
In Spring, I'm Matt Doherty, KHOU 11 News.
A Florida woman is in custody accused of scamming people by impersonating a family of a teen counselor who died at Camp Mystic. 28-year-old Maitland White was arrested last week in Florida for a charge here in Harris County. Aniel Ruiz has the latest.
Tonight, a 28-year-old Florida woman is behind bars accused of pretending to be a grieving parent and trying to profit from their tragedy.
The loss of their daughter and to be victimized at a point which is the lowest point in their lives is just unconscionable.
According to court documents, just 4 days after the floods in Kirk County killed over 130 people, Maitland White allegedly created a GoFundMe and a spot fund account, pretending to be the father of Chloe Childress, the 18-year-old Houston native Camp Mystic counselor killed during the flood.
Somebody had put up a GoFundMe account with her picture on it and was trying to defraud people into giving money.
When investigators called her, Harris County Precinct 1 Constable Alan Rosen says she admitted to everything.
Confessed to doing it and said that, she has 2 children and, she thought it would be easy money.
U.S. Marshals tracked her down and executed a search warrant at her home in Florida.
She wouldn't open the door and they had to force the door open, but she was taken into custody.
She'll eventually be brought back to Harris County to face charges for a crime in which she didn't even benefit from.
They were very quick at shutting down, so she didn't really collect any money.
In the meantime, officers have a message for those who try to take advantage of a family going through grief.
Online impersonation, it's a felony. It's serious. They're charging people with this, and don't do it.
That was Anieli Ruiz reporting. We are 5 months away from the FIFA World Cup, and Houston area hotels are getting ready for a global crowd. Marcelino Benito shows us how hotels are rolling out the red carpet for soccer fans.
In just 6 months, the World Cup arrives, and at Houston's Post Oak Hotel, global soccer fans get a front row seat to luxury.
As a hotel, we've been talking about this. It's been on our radar for the past 3 years.
Stephen Chow is general manager at the Post Oak.
I have a lot of interest from Europe, a lot of interest from Mexico, a lot of interest from the Middle East.
The 5-star hotel and spa offering visitors a one-of-a-kind VIP World Cup package designed for guests who want everything handled.
They're looking for a seamless experience. They're looking for a hotel and a destination where all they need to worry about is getting access to the games. And when they're at the hotel, we take care of all of their needs.
And they mean everything. From round-trip airport transportation to VIP FanFest access, a global massage experience, a dedicated concierge, even getting to the matches included. Their World Cup experience begins the moment guests check in.
Personalized jerseys from their favorite countries.
Food and wine, part of it too.
We have an amazing culinary team just ready to cater to all the flavors from around the world.
That 3-night package will cost you $15,000. And for those looking to go even bigger,
this is one of the largest penthouses in the nation.
The Post Oak's exclusive 2-level penthouse will also be available. 22,000 square feet, multiple bedrooms, bars, an infinity pool, jacuzzis, a private theater, and butler service. The price tag, $100,000 a night.
I mean, it's perfect for large families.
If that's too steep, standard rooms during the World Cup here average about $2,200 a night.
Just give us what you need, what your desires are, what you want to experience within our city, and we'll look forward to creating that.
About an hour from the Galleria, the experience shifts from high-rise luxury to open land and wide Texas skies.
It's very peaceful and quiet here.
Carol Davis runs Blisswood Bed and Breakfast Ranch, offering World Cup visitors a very different taste of Texas.
Freedom and vistas and having the horses and cattle, and to me that's Texas. And hospitality.
The ranch features private cabins and homes with porches, privacy, and experiences you won't find in the city, like horseback riding and even exotic animal safaris.
They find me because they're looking for this kind of Texas experience, the ranch experience.
A quiet escape between matches. Davis says international guests are already a big part of her business. She expects that to noticeably increase this summer.
Y'all come.
And some quick context for you. Since this World Cup draw came out, hotel bookings in key Houston areas have already more than doubled, and nightly rates are running about 3 times higher than average. Even so, tourism officials say Houston has more than 100,000 hotel rooms and enough inventory to meet all this demand. Their advice to fans is to book early and keep an eye on those prices as the tournament gets closer. Back to you.
Thanks, Marcelino. That's a wrap of your Houston headlines. I'm Cheryl Mercedes.
For insurance you can trust, help is just a handshake away. Find your local agent at yourmediainsurance.com.
Good morning, everyone. I'm weather forecaster Roxy Van Ruden here to give you your Texas statewide forecast. Well, we saw some freezing temperatures over the weekend, some hard freezes and some wind chills in the teens. Now we're starting to warm up once again, but we're still going to be pretty cold starting off your work week. So freezing temperatures throughout the mornings. By midweek, we see moisture move back in, cloud coverage move back in, and by the weekend, back to spring-like temperatures. There's some areas like Corpus Christi that will be back in the 70s by Wednesday. So we're going to warm up quickly. All right, so we are looking at 50s for the next couple of days in Dallas and Austin and San Antonio, but in Del Rio and McAllen, warming up to 70s already by Tuesday and by Wednesday. So South Texas will be warming up quickly. Next couple mornings, though, are going to be very chilly, especially in the Texas Panhandle. Amarillo at 31 degrees this Monday morning, 43 in Dallas, 44 in Austin. Tuesday morning, we're looking at 20s in Amarillo, 41 in my hometown of El Paso, 33 in Midland, and then by Wednesday, we're also looking at lots of 30s and 40s across the board. All right, we saw some wind chills over the weekend in south central Texas down to the teens. This is the coldest temperatures we've seen so far this season, and we've got our first freeze of the season pretty late. Normally, we get it around November 30th, so we barely got to see it on January 18th. So south central Texas is looking very chilly for the next couple of mornings, and our drought monitor continues to get a little bit worse. As you'll notice, a lot more red showing in south central Texas. We've got a little bit in West Texas, south of us. So we definitely need some rain, and we'll be getting some pretty soon. But elevated fire threat will be a concern. So brush fires could be caused very easily and could spread very quickly when we have some breezy conditions. So it doesn't take much for those fires to start since our vegetation is so dry. All right, take a look at our futurecast. We have the cloud coverage rolling in on Tuesday, rain chances kicking in by Tuesday night into Wednesday morning. So this could linger through Dallas, through Austin. We've got a little bit of activity in Corpus Christi. This is Wednesday morning. And by Wednesday night, still continuing to see some activity east of Texas. So we've got some rain chances by the middle of the week. And this is going to give us a lot of cloud coverage. But let's take a look at your forecast. forecast for the next couple days. So starting off in West Texas, my hometown of El Paso, Monday looking at a high of 64 degrees, a little cooler on Tuesday at 59 and Wednesday at 65 degrees with sunny skies. Lubbock, you're starting off windy this week, high of 54. 44 is going to be very chilly for your Monday. 54 on Tuesday, 57 on Wednesday. Midland, you're looking at 54 today, 52 tomorrow, and 63 on Wednesday. All right, Central Texas in Austin, we're looking at a high of 66 today. Cloudy skies on Tuesday, 57 degrees, and some rain chances by Wednesday at 64 degrees. Waco, you're starting off pretty similar, 63 today, 60 on Tuesday, and 67 on Wednesday with some rain chances. Fredericksburg, 64 today, mid-50s on Tuesday, upper 60s on Wednesday. Now in South Texas, here in San Antonio, we're looking at 66 today, mid-50s on Tuesday, and some rain chances by Wednesday in the upper 50s. Corpus Christi, a little warmer, 69 today, 67 on Tuesday, and 70 degrees on Wednesday with some rain chances. Laredo, you're looking at 73 today with sunny skies, mid-60s on Tuesday, and 73 on Wednesday with some rain chances. Our friends in North Texas, so Dallas, you're looking at a high of 50 today, 56 on Tuesday, 59 on Wednesday with some rain chances. Weatherford, same thing for you, and Denton, same thing for you. Our friend in East Texas, Houston, you're looking at 64 today, 59 on Tuesday, 63 on Wednesday with some rain chances. Beaumont, also looking at 64 today, rain chances by Wednesday, and Tyler, Texas as well. And our friends in the Valley, much warmer, still going to be cloudy by Tuesday and still going to be tracking some rain on Wednesday in the mid-70s. So here's a look at your extended forecast with the weekend in view. Stay warm throughout the morning, stay dry, and that's a look at your Texas statewide forecast. Have a great week.
For insurance you can trust, help is just a handshake away. Find your local agent at yourmediainsurance.com.
In Austin, I'm Daranisha Heron. A mysterious installation in downtown Austin is sparking lots of conversation. Some metal rails and loops on planters seem to have appeared out of nowhere. And as KVU's Kelsey Sanchez reports, it's leading to more questions than answers.
It's tacky. I don't like them.
Don't know what they are, so don't really know.
There's some mystery and confusion when it comes to these planters in the area of Brazos and East 6th Street.
Maybe they don't want people to sit out here anymore. Could be. I have no idea.
Some folks, like Kevin Ryan, didn't even notice the metal rails and loops until KVU pointed them out.
City officials say that they're not responsible for installing the metal rails and loops, but so far in this intersection alone, I've seen at least 10 planters with them, but not all of them have them installed.
The city added Austin Transportation and Public Works has an inspector looking into who did it and will address the issue. However, once the city did respond, we had one more question.
So now I'm asking them whether or not it is a public or private property.
The city wouldn't share that information. While the mystery remains, the metal rails and loops are keeping people guessing what their purpose is.
I've been homeless in other cities, and over there in Denver, they do kind of the same thing. Wherever unhoused folks tend to gather, sometimes they do sweeps, then they come back with like boulders and kind of place them there so people won't, I guess, congregate or camp.
For those who live on the streets, they say whoever installed the metal rails and loops, and whatever the reason, it doesn't make a difference.
I'm going to sit here anyway. I know how to get, I've been doing this for 20 years. Those.
KVU reached out to the Downtown Austin Alliance about the installation, and they too say they had no part in it. A mystery still unsolved. In downtown Austin, Kelsey Sanchez, KVU News.
Kelsey, thank you. Austin's long-awaited light rail, known as Project Connect, is one step closer to becoming reality. Federal officials signed off on the environmental review, but questions about how to pay for the massive project are still looming. KVUE's Daniel Gomez shows us where things stand.
Mahesh Vengavalu makes his way downtown on Cap Metro's Red Line.
It's awesome. It's having a system like this in Texas. I hope it continues to grow.
While James Johnson is making his way home up north.
I rely on my e-bike. So me not having a car, I have to rely on the train just to get into the city.
In the coming years, Austinites will have another option to get around. The Austin Transit Partnership is inching closer to getting federal funds to build a light rail as part of Project Connect. The nearly 10-mile rail will run from UT's campus to downtown to near the airport.
There's not surprise gotcha moments normally in this progression, so kind of we're continuing to advance to deliver.
Jennifer Pine says the federal government's approval of its final environmental impact statement clears the path to roughly $4 billion in funding. About $7 billion is needed for the entire project.
So we've actually been moving through the steps quite efficiently. To complete the record of decision and be in this place within 2 years is quite efficient.
The long-anticipated Project Connect is a journey voters approved in 2020. The proposed design has been scaled back since then. Property tax revenue will help pay for a good chunk of the project, in addition to the federal funding that's needed.
I expect we'll be working through due diligence with FTA for the next probably 18 plus months or so.
In the meantime, commuters continue to rely on what's currently available.
I'm sure there's a lot of back and forth, finances and that. I do hope, of course, as fast as possible.
Well, I'm from Houston, so I know how that could be because I remember when we got the light rail in Houston, it took a long time. I would say just be patient, because it sounds like it's coming.
Waiting a little longer as Austin's long-promised light rail inches closer from vision to reality.
The Austin Transit Partnership says confidence is high after the milestone in this process. It does expect to break ground in 2027. The goal is to have the light rail online in 2033. The Challenger Street newspaper employs unhoused people to write articles. It says a way for them to earn money. KVUE's Jessica Cha spoke to a few members on the team about how it works and the impact it makes on them.
Standing in the median of Menchaca and Stasny in South Austin are people like Bob Schrey selling the Challenger.
To be able to make some money, legally.
It's a newspaper about the streets of Austin, written by those who know it best.
The Challenger newspaper is a street paper that is 95% street written, and it is distributed by unhoused people.
Valerie Romness, a homeless advocate, says the idea came about 15 years ago when a few unhoused friends of hers wanted to create a platform to share their stories.
So I'm like, why did you pick the Challenger? And they said, because it's challenging to be homeless. So we offer employment and independence. People can make their own hours, and they distribute Challengers on a donation basis.
So every Sunday, about 10 to 15 members on the team meet at City Hall or the Central Library to write articles and create the content. Print the edition out, about 400 copies a month.
Get them all lined up and then fold them in half. And there we go.
The paper does what it says what it does. We're real, and this paper works.
Clifton Pappas, who's been writing and distributing for the newspaper for over a year now, says it helps to dispel stereotypes about them.
Not all unhoused people are drug addicts or mentals. Over 80% of America is 2 checks from being right here.
And it helps motivate them even when times are tough.
I stay to myself and get very reclusive and standoffish and out of the way. But put the paper in my hand. How you doing?
And Schrey says the cash really does help give them a bit more freedom. They collect 100% of the donation someone pays to buy a copy of the paper.
Place to get a meal, or some clothing or whatever resources I might need.
Shrey says this job will ultimately help get him a higher paying job and his identification in more ways than one.
It gives us more dignity because we're selling something to people and not just like asking, hey, can you spare some change or something?
Not asking for a handout, but a hand up to get back on their feet. In Austin, Jessica Cha, KVUE News.
That's really cool, Jessica. Thank you. Those are the headlines here in Austin. I'm Darrenisha Heron.
I'm Adriana Alexander. Here are your headlines from Central Texas. Central Texas said a final goodbye Saturday to fallen Copper's Cove police officer Elijah Garrettson. The 27-year-old was killed in the line of duty earlier this month. Hundreds of first responders and community members gathered to honor his life and service. 6 News reporter Juliana Jackson was at the funeral and has more on how they're remembering the officer.
Copper's Cove police officer Elijah Garrettson was a 27-year-old husband, father, Army veteran, and police officer. On January 11th, he was shot and killed in the line of duty.
There were no cameras allowed inside during the service, but Garrettson's father, Roger Garrettson, and the Copper's Cove Chief of Police, Eddie Wilson, both spoke and said that Garrettson was thoughtful, kind, and compassionate, and that he had a heart for helping people in his community.
Chief Wilson shared how Garrettson graduated top of his academy class and saved a fellow cadet's life during training. He said Garrettson believed every call for service was a human being in pain. His father remembered a curious child who collected fossils, played soccer, and grew into a proud father who loved his 5-year-old daughter with all his heart. Outside the service, retired law enforcement officers on motorcycles lined up for the fallen officer and his family.
We came here to just honor fallen peace officer and their family and friends and the community and the agency that he represented.
Oscar Hernandez is part of a brotherhood who ride to remember those who've made the ultimate sacrifice.
His life was cut short, and so there's a lot of emotions coming from a lot of us. We're on the road, we see what he experienced, and so it's difficult for us to think about that because we live it.
Officer Garrettson leaves behind his 5-year-old daughter and wife. Chief Wilson made a promise to everyone gathered for the service. Garrettson's legacy will not be defined by how he died, but by how he lived, with compassion, courage, and a commitment to helping others. Juliana Jackson, 6 News.
Well, over in Waco, a Waco movie theater that made headlines for all the wrong reasons is working to start fresh. In November, Central Texans took to social media to sound the alarm about a rodent issue. The Waco-McLennan County Public Health District began an open investigation into the problem and say things have gotten cleaned up. There was evidence of rodent activity behind several movie screens, but they didn't see any live rodents during investigations and have eliminated all possible rodent entry points. The health district says the facility is considered safe.
We haven't ever seen any.
Yeah. Every food establishment is going to have that problem. I had clients with restaurant like that. That's just part of running a place like this, and plus it's Waco, you got all the construction back here. It's pretty natural. This place is great.
Yeah.
People are nice.
Seats there.
Seats are fantastic. The movies are great. The sound's good. We just love coming here.
And according to the health district, Cinemark has continued working with their pest control company, who comes 3 times a week, and there hasn't been any evidence of mice in several weeks. Plus, they have 2 theaters deep cleaned each week on a rotating basis. And those are your headlines from Central Texas.
Here are your headlines from Southeast Texas. I'm Ebony Coleman. 2 Orange County actors are taking their talent to Netflix without leaving Southeast Texas behind. They're part of a new mockumentary series set to debut later this year. 12 News reporter Spencer Plato sat down with the actors before they left to finish filming, who says the project is proof you don't have to move to Hollywood to make it big.
I want to bloom where I'm planted. My roots are so deep in Orange County.
A mindset that carries into dead-end jobs. A new Netflix mockumentary filming in East Texas.
The premise is The Office meets Lost meets Sixth Sense.
A show full of not only comedy, but surprises.
As the season goes on, there's a twist that comes in. It's going to evolve into something a little more, and that's all I can say about that. But I don't think it's been done before, so It's going to be real interesting to see.
Mauriceville actor John Frederick, who plays Rick Darabont, says this is his first episodic series.
I applied for it, and I got a audition request, so I sent my headshot, my demo reels in, and I got a call back just based on my demo reels.
After an unexpected recast for a character, Frederick sprang into action.
Started jumping up and down. I was like, I know somebody. I got the perfect person for you. And I showed him a couple of films that Penny had done, some of her previous characters, and he said, ooh, she looks perfect.
Orangefield native Penny Lalou and Frederick have known each other for 6 years and have spent time crafting their talent.
We've been traveling all over the U.S. together, going to different
festivals and all, yeah. Yeah, when you've got somebody you can take a 10-hour car trip with, you know, and we've done that a couple of times.
But the main mission is to help develop the Southeast Texas film community.
These days, with all the other technology, YouTube and all that, you don't have to go to Hollywood. You can do it where you're at. And I took that to heart, and so I'm kind of determined to grow it here.
That was Spencer Plater reporting. The crew is currently filming in Corrigan, Texas, and is expected to air the series in the fall. And a cutting-edge cancer treatments is coming to Southeast Texas. The Baptist Cancer Center will open their doors soon, and when patients arrive, there will be a new radiation system designed to treat brain cancer and other conditions faster and with more precision. It's called HyperArc, and doctors say it's a game changer. For many people diagnosed with cancer, treatment often means long drives to Houston. But with new radiation technology now available here in Southeast Texas, that journey may be soon closer to home. Baptist Hospital is introducing HyperArc. It's an advanced radiation system that delivers highly targeted treatments to brain tumors faster and more precisely than ever before. According to Dr. Ernest Heimel, what once took 20 to 30 minutes can now be done in just 3 to 5 minutes. It's a major step forward in cancer care for Southeast Texas.
For the few things that we couldn't do before locally, for example, treating places in the brain with things like radiosurgery, we can now do here as well. So now even fewer people have to go to Houston to get their care.
The new radiation machine is set to open the same day that new cancer center at Baptist is set to open. And to the courts now, and a wrongful death lawsuit connected to a fatal accident at the Motiva refinery in Port Arthur is now moving into the discovery phase. The family of Hayden Christopher, a lineman from Buna, filed the suit after he died in October while working at the Port Arthur facility. Neutron, the electrical contractor Christopher was working for, filed a formal response denying the allegations. And in Orange, where a popular restaurant is closed, the Two Amigos on Lucher Drive has caught fire twice in 2 days. Crews say they saw smoke coming from the building and found the fire in the dining area just outside of the kitchen. The fire department says electrical issues caused the fire, but the restaurant's sprinkler system prevented major damage. Two Amigos will stay closed until repairs are complete. And Beaumont police say 2 people have been arrested in connection with an aggravated robbery. Court documents provided by Judge Mark DeRuin show a woman told police that she was robbed at gunpoint. Officers used GPS to track the suspects to Parkdale Mall, where 2 people matching the description were arrested. Police identified them as Devin Murray and Jesus Lugo. Officers say a gun and about $500 in cash were found. Both now face aggravated robbery charges. And those were your headlines from Southeast Texas.
For insurance you can trust, help is just a handshake away. Find your local agent at yourmediainsurance.com.
I'm Vanessa Croy, and this is the news in San Antonio. Flames ripped through condos in the medical center Saturday night, leaving many families out in the cold. The fast-moving inferno broke out at the Tower Point condominiums off Fredericksburg Road. At least 100 firefighters battled the blaze for over an hour. Part of the building collapsed, but fire crews were able to keep the fire from spreading. 12 units were destroyed.
The floor of the third floor collapsed into the second floor. Fortunately, none of our firefighters were injured. No one fell. They were just outside of the collapse area, but we did have to evacuate the building and go to a defensive approach to fighting the fire, like you see behind me with the ladder trucks.
The fire department tells us the fire started around the chimney area and then quickly spread through the entire roof. They say they're working with Red Cross and department management to help displaced families find a home. A house fire turns even more dangerous as flames shoot through the roof and a transformer explodes. Neighbors on Tropical Drive on the east side say the house has been a disaster waiting to happen. Sue Kalberg explains what's next.
The fire commander told me the damage here is so extensive, this house is a candidate for emergency demolition. All your power poles on fire.
This inferno was no surprise to neighbors.
I came out one morning and the homeless people were digging in all his stuff. They ransacked the whole house.
But it's been 3 years?
Well, yeah.
It's been going on for a while now, so unfortunately I got used to it. Like, I hate to say that.
Neighbors say people come and go here at all hours, and they claim the absentee owner and the city refused to put a stop to it.
I gave them his phone number and everything.
The city's code division claims there have only been 2 enforcement calls in the past 12 months, both for overgrown grass. They say it's important that if you see something, say something, and don't just assume someone else is reporting the problem.
More cold weather is coming. The danger of fire increases. Go to KENS5.com for that link on how to report these abandoned structures. In Northeast San Antonio, Sue Kalberg, KENS 5.
A man convicted of murder has learned his fate and will now spend decades behind bars. On Friday, Seth Little was sentenced to 40 years in prison for the murder of Corwin Davis. Prosecutors say back in May of 2022, Little and another suspect broke into Davis's home, intending to commit a robbery. That's when police say Davis was shot and killed. In addition to the murder charges, Little was also sentenced on 2 unrelated charges of aggravated robbery and theft. The sentences will run concurrently. Little's accomplice, Malik Jason, is scheduled to be sentenced later this month. 3 men are in custody after a county crackdown operation targeting human smuggling. Right now, the Bexar County Sheriff's Office needs your help to find another suspect. Deputies are looking for 25-year-old Pablo Aaron Velasquez Monsiváis. The sheriff says he and the other men are responsible for stealing trucks, then gutting the trucks and using them to smuggle migrants across the border. 3 were arrested. 2 of the trucks recovered. During one of the raids, the sheriff said the suspects fled the scene, jumping rooftop to rooftop on houses before they were finally arrested. The suspects, the sheriff said, had been previously deported and then came back to the U.S. It's unclear if they'll be turned over to the custody of ICE federal agents. A teacher's aide at Warren High School is accused of having an inappropriate, intimate relationship with a 16-year-old student with special needs. According to an arrest warrant, 33-year-old George Aguilar is seen on video kissing the student in the classroom. He later told officers they had even discussed marriage and having children together. He's now facing a charge of improper relationship between educator and student. We reached out to Northside ISD, who told us that Aguilar was first hired in 2014 as a substitute teacher before he became an instructional assistant at Warren High School in 2018. The district says in a statement they are fully cooperating with police. Aguilar has since been released from jail, posting a $75,000 bond. She's one of just a few women in her welding class and working toward a better future for her family. But Tuesday afternoon, as she waited for the bus to take her to class, everything she needed was stolen. Alicia Niave shares how a heartbreaking loss turned into an outpouring of support.
I have a thing for building stuff. It's also like really good to set you up in life.
At a bus stop off Acme Road near Highway 90. A suitcase on the curb with a welding helmet hooked to the handle. carrying a future this student's worked hard to build.
As the bus was about to round the corner, I turned around real quick to get my school ID out my bag.
That's when she says a truck pulled up and the passenger jumped out.
I turn around and all I see is a white truck skirting off down the street with my equipment.
Every tool she needed for her night classes at South Texas Votech gone. Equipment paid for through financial aid. Projects, gloves, and her grinder, the most expensive piece.
A part of me didn't want to continue, but I'm gonna just see it through because I can't start something and then not finish it.
She's halfway through the 10-month program.
I know how my niece's drive was when she was doing it. She would talk about it. The way she talked about it, her spirit just lit up.
Her aunt, Destiny Pineda, shared the story online, hoping for help.
It was a lot of different people like, oh, I got this, I graduated, oh, I have this, what does she need, what does she need? Y'all came through. And y'all helped out in a way that almost had me in tears.
Strangers offering tools, some even committed to replacing the most expensive equipment.
When that came through, it let me know that no matter the darkness, there's still light. And we just got to hold onto that light.
The student plans to meet with school officials Monday to see what options are available. She's also filing a police report and checking local pawn shops.
I'm trying to provide a future for my family.
Alicia Nieves, KENS 5.
After 20 years on the job, San Antonio's top cop is retiring. Chief William McManus announced his retirement on Friday. He's the longest-serving police chief in the city's history and will continue to lead the department through September. And he says that of all the cities he's worked in, San Antonio is the best by far. And that's the news in San Antonio.
I'm Bill Churchwell in Corpus Christi, and here's a look at some of what's happening in South Texas. The North Padre Island seawall could soon see much-needed repairs. The project has been years in the works, and officials now say they are able to move forward thanks to TERS funding. Our Lydia Herrera has a look at what's next for this project.
The North Padre Island seawall is more than 50 years old, and it's showing, but these damaged and broken pieces won't stay this way for long. City officials and seawall property owners came together at the Gulfstream condominiums for an announcement.
Over $11 million we identified to be able to fully fund this project now. And so this morning's meeting was to inform the residents here along the seawall that the project is back to being fully funded at $15.5 million.
City Manager Peter Zanoni says TERS funding helped fill in the funding gap, making it possible to start repairs on the seawall later this year. News that several residents, including Lou Lutensky and Nelda Martinez, were happy to hear.
And it was in disrepair, exposed rebar, things falling apart, and I just think it's going to add new freshness to the island.
It is a historic day, and it took a lot of people to make sure that this happened, and I'm very grateful for the team and the leadership that has driven this to today.
But where did the remaining funds come from?
And so by closing out several projects that were completed some time ago and using some monies that we had in a contingency account as well, all within that fund, we're able to bring together enough money to generate that $11 million.
City Council member Kaylin Paxson says the seawall will be a city facility moving forward, but adds that input from property owners will still be an important part of the process.
It's along their property. We need to make sure that as a partner, we are taking their vision into this. That was a big part of the agreement when we first started this discussion, and we're committed to making sure that we see that through.
Zanoni says the city's priority goes beyond just repairing the seawall.
But in these coming months, we'll analyze how we can reestablish a maintenance fund so that when the $15 million is invested, taxpayer money is protected, and more importantly, the seawall is protected through annual maintenance. And so we'll be making recommendations in this coming budget later this summer.
Martinez says the seawall will finally be restored to its glory.
But once this is going to be completed, I think they're going to see that for generations to come, that this was a historic day and many will benefit it for many, many years.
City officials say construction on this seawall is expected to begin after Labor Day. In North Padre Island, Lydia Herrera, 3 News.
The next generation of South Texas farmers and ranchers took center stage at the Nueces County Junior Livestock Show. From early mornings in the barn to lessons learned in the ring, students showed off their dedication and hard work. The Parade of Champions rolled through the main arena, honoring top competitors. Some students even earned scholarships. First-time participant, 15-year-old Philip Dean West, took home first place for his photo in the homemaking category. He shares how he got that prize-winning shot.
I tried to get as close as I could to this bird. I saw it and it was sitting there. I was like, I gotta get this bird. So I walked up, sneaky and quiet, and just luckily didn't move. So I got real close and got this nice photo.
Good job. Well, organizers say the success of the livestock show comes from the strong support system surrounding these students.
Our community, we live in the best community ever. It takes volunteers, and we have a lot of those. It takes a lot of hardworking students and parents, and then it takes the community to come out and say, great job. We're really glad that you're doing something constructive and positive with your lives that's going to propel you into whatever your purpose is in life.
And that work doesn't stop here. Students will continue preparing for next year's Junior Livestock Show. And that's a quick look at some of what's happening here in South Texas.
Hello and welcome to your East Texas Headlines. I'm Jimmy Searfoss. Rusk is facing a major shakeup on top of its police department. Police Chief Scotty Hegney has been terminated following administrative leave over an internal issue. Hegney had already been placed on paid leave twice in 2025 after a complaint through city officials are not revealing who filed it or the details of it. They stress no wrongdoing was found and call a standard employment step. City officials say the decision came after an administrative review and is in the best interests of the community. Sergeant Jeremy Farmer is taking over daily operations while the city manager continues to serve as acting chief. The East Mountain Police Department has signed an agreement to partner with ICE through the agency's 287G program, which gives law enforcement the power to enforce certain parts of U.S. immigration law. This comes as the City Council unanimously approved the decision last Monday. Over 20 East Texas agencies have signed this same agreement. East Mountain joined the task force model. That means that law enforcement can enforce immigration laws while performing routine police duties and participate in ICE-led task forces. Police Chief Stephen Rathburn said the agreement will allow him to take really bad people doing really bad things off the streets. Winsboro ISD leaders are facing intense scrutiny following the arrests of current and former district employees, including the superintendent and former superintendent, alleging they failed to report multiple incidents of child abuse. The district held their first special session meeting since those arrests on Saturday. CBS 19's Robert De La Garza reports.
The request by Mr. Aaron Nation to be placed on administrative leave.
Second. All those in favor show hands. Motion carries.
The Winsboro ISD Board accepted the resignation of Superintendent Aaron Nation during Saturday's special session, voting unanimously.
This board unanimously voted to appoint Aaron Nation to superintendent. Less than 2 weeks later, Nation was arrested after the Texas Rangers alleged his phone was factory reset.
His resignation comes after former Superintendent Brian David Wilcox, now former Superintendent Aaron Nation, and former employee Ashley Wilcox were arrested Monday following an investigation that district employees allegedly failed to report child abuse by staff members.
And we need to be sure that the people who are taking care of our kids for sometimes 8-9 hours at least a day, 5 days a week, a good chunk of the year, we need to know that they're all taking care of them just like we would.
Speakers criticized the board's handling of the investigation, arguing their faith in the district has been lost.
When trust is gone, leadership cannot function effectively, guys. Our students and families deserve confidence in those making decisions for their future.
Several residents went further, calling for the entire school board to resign and to move on with new leadership.
And in my opinion, right now, there's three board seats up for election right now. I think there should be 6 or 7 of those right now. I don't have any trust in the decisions you guys have made.
Board members said they're doing their best to move forward, but parents like Cannon Geyser say for years, communication has been missing.
But there's been no communication, no openness.
The district announced high school principal Cody Holloway will serve as the acting superintendent while the board searches for an interim.
I want to see people we can trust to share and to explain themselves and to not have these questions hanging over their heads.
Board members declined one-on-one interviews, but addressed the public asking for continued support.
To lift up the school board, the school district, and our administrators and our kids, because we've got a great community, we've got great kids. They're doing good things, and they're going to continue to in the future.
I think we can all agree on is that we want what's best for our kids, and we want them to be healthy, happy, and safe.
For CBS 19, I'm Robert De La Garza.
That's a wrap on your East Texas headlines. I'm Jimmy Searfoss.
Texas News Now is sponsored by Germania Insurance.
For insurance you can trust, help is just a handshake away. Find your local agent at germaniainsurance.com.